Okay, 2 o'clock, everybody. Let's get started on today's class, which is entitled iPhone Super Tips. I hope you got your handout. All right. Remember, you can see the videos from all the past classes, plus today's class in a few days, on my website. Go to christianvoice.com and click the lectures section, and you'll see. Okay, so today, let's get right down to it. We have a lot to cover. So we're going to talk about the iPhone. We've got 5 main topics as shown in the handout. First part is about turning the phone sideways. So today I'll be using this iPhone here. This is my iPhone 8 Plus. And once again, we're using this one because the screen's a little bit bigger, and it just turns out better for the class. Okay, well, turning it sideways. So, when you have a phone, it's really easy to use right off the bat. But if you dive a little deeper, you find some easier things, some interesting things, some things that are just different. And one of the first things is to turn it sideways. So I'm going to look at my calendar here. I'm just going to run through this part pretty quickly. So here's a calendar. It's showing appointments, and that's fine. But if I want to show a week at a time kind of calendar, all I've got to do is rotate my phone sideways here, and we see here's a day, here's a week, and so here's our class. So there's nothing special to do. You just turn it sideways, and there it is. If you didn't turn it sideways, you would have this view. Okay, or if you went a little bit further, you'd have this view. Or if you went a little bit deeper yet, you'll have this view. This is the one I'm looking for. So turn it sideways. So easy, and you get a whole nother thing. Okay, let's look at the calculator. Here's another one. I'm going to get to the calculator by pulling up for the control the control center. So here's our regular calculator. And when we want to do simple math, that's great. But if you just rotate the phone sideways here, now it's a big fancy calculator with a bunch of functions that any high schooler would need to know. Little trigonometry there, sines and cosines and stuff. Okay, great stuff. So a whole different thing just by turning it. Okay, so let's go back to vertical again. Let's look at photos, and the ones I'm showing you here are just sort of illustrative of the nature of this turn it sideways situation. You should always try turning something sideways, see what happens. Let's go to photos. So here I am in photos, and you can see the size of the pictures. And if I go sideways like this, they're bigger. You see the thumbnails are bigger. So there's that way, or there's this way. Do you want them small, or do you want them big? So that's all by turning it sideways. One more we'll do. Let's go to a web page. I'm going to go to Apple's web page here, APPLE. There we go. Let's go to apple.com. This is what it looks like vertically. It's what we normally do. And we might try to stretch it, click on it and stretch it like this. But if you just turn it sideways, it's bigger already, and you can stretch it. You have more room to stretch. So, it's a way of making things bigger without having to worry about actually making them bigger in the settings. All right, so that's nice. So that's turning things sideways, and there's a lot more to it than that. So just experiment. Okay, whichever app you're in, try turning it sideways. All right, I want to spend some time here in the Messages app on page 2. So Messages, we spend a lot of time messaging people, but there's some bonuses in there. So let's go to Messages. Here I'm messaging my mom. There's my mom up there. And that's all terrific. You know, we're just tapping away, having a great time. But if we tap on, if I tap on mom up here, if I tap on her face up there, I get these little buttons. Okay, well, what do we do with these buttons? Well, this one, if I wanted to call her, I do this. That's easy. It's the easiest way to make a phone call is if I'm already texting somebody, just tap on the face, tap audio. If you want to make a quick FaceTime call, it's another quick way to do it. So rather than going to the FaceTime app or going to the contacts or doing any other way, if you're already having a conversation with the person in messages, then why not just do it this way? And very easy. This is the part I want to really focus on today is info. So when you do the info, so I'll go to, let's erase these. Let's see if I can erase those things. Yes. So when we look here, there's a variety of things you might see here. One of them is location. So if the person is sharing location, you'd see that person's location. But look here, we see photos. So if you've been texting photos back and forth and you'd like to see them all, rather than scrolling through the whole conversation looking for photos, you come here. So you tap the person's face, you click on info, and now you see photos. I only see 4 of them here, but if we look, we see all photos. So let's do that, and let's see what happens here. Okay, so I will do see all photos, and here they come. Okay, so this is a nice way to see all these photos from, yeah, there's socks and there's birds and there's food and there's different things, you know, more socks, more pictures, more stuff. But this is all of them. This is all the pictures back and forth, my pictures to mom, mom's pictures to me, and they're all there. Now, once I'm here, I can select them and email them to somebody if I want. So that's what I want to show you about messages. Okay, really neat stuff. So it all starts up at the top. Tap the person's name to drop these things, and then info. All right, so while we're in here, let's look at some other things you can do with text messages. And one of them is you can forward text messages. So I'm going to forward. Let's pretend we want to forward something. More than one way to do it. I'll show you a couple of ways. Let's say we have a picture. I'm going to try to find a picture in here that I want to forward. Here's a picture of a bird. Okay, so I want to forward the picture of this bird to somebody else. Maybe I want to send it to I'll send it to my nephew. So I can touch this, and there's a few things we can do. If I touch it and hold it, you see down here at the bottom we have copy, save, and more. Well, we're going to go for the more and see what we get in there. So right down here. So we tap more. That gets me to this box. And here we have 2 buttons. One is a throw it away button here, a garbage can. It's not what I want to do, but we have a forward button here. It's exactly what I want to do. So I'm going to tap that one. And when I do, now it's created a new text message that I can send to somebody else. Okay, so if I send this to, well, I'll send it to nobody, but you can see that's what it's going to do. Okay, now that's one way to do it. I'm going to cancel that. We'll do it a different way, a way that I just discovered. Right? So remember what this took. It took touching, holding, tapping more, and then tapping forward. Okay, that was 3 things plus a hold. What we're going to do instead is we're going to tap it with 2 fingers. So these are 2 fingers here. I'm going to tap that picture with 2 fingers, and right away I've got what I got in 2 steps in 1 step. So it's selected here, and I see my my forward arrow down there. Okay, so you tap with 2 fingers on the thing that you want to forward. And so that I could come down to the bottom right corner, I can tap and I could forward this just as before. So I'm gonna do that one more time in slow motion here. I get 2 fingers and I'm going to tap on the picture once, not hold it, just tap it. And there it is, ready for me to forward it or to delete it. There are times when you're gonna have a picture you wanna delete. Maybe somebody sent you a picture of you know, something they thought was funny and you didn't think it was funny and you want to get rid of it. Well, this is how you do it. You 2 fingers and then hit the trash can. You could also select more things while you're in here. If you wanted to, I could tap to select more items and forward the whole chunk of it. You see. So that's nice. Now you can also forward a little bit of the text. I don't have to forward the whole text message, but let's say that someone has sent you important information, like let's say this one here, we need to be in Berkeley on May 19th. My nephew's graduation from Berkeley as a master's degree recipient. So I know that's today. They didn't have the ceremony. So let's say though that we wanted to forward this to somebody else. What I would do is I could touch it and hold it, then I could touch more, then I could forward it, right? We know how to do that. Or we can tap it with 2 fingers. Let's see if this works. Right away, ready to go. So if someone has given you important information, like that it goes at 9 a.m., and you need to get that to somebody, well, that's how you do it. So 2 fingers, tap on what you want, and then forward it. Okay, so that's forwarding stuff. And now we'll do one more thing in texting. Let's say you're writing a text message and you want to put some oomph behind it. So let's say I want to say wow. Okay, well, you can say wow and you can put, you know, all these exclamation points behind it. Or I can touch, if I touch here and hold it, I get some choices here. So the first things we see, so I haven't sent it yet. The first things we see here are what they call the bubble effects, which is, you see here, bubble effects. Those are sort of interesting, not as interesting as the screen effects. The screen effects are much more dramatic. So we'll just show you what those would look like, though. If I sent it in the slam option, I would come up here and tap on slam, and you see what that looks like. I'll tap it again. Wow. Okay, that's what I did. I'll type another wow here, and let's touch and hold, and you can see what it would look like if I did it loud. Okay, now so when if I like what I've seen, then I tap this and away it goes, and that's what happened before. We're going to experiment a little bit before we finally do it. So let's look at what gentle looks like. Tap down here on the dot for gentle. We'll tap down on the one. So again, I'm tapping on the dots, not on the words, because the words won't work. So we'll tap here and see it disappears. So these are fun. They're fun. But let's look at the ones up here at the top. If we switch this little slider from bubble to screen, now we get some really interesting ones. Okay. So that's this is the echo effect. All right. Okay, it looks like we're echo affecting with invisible ink. Let me get out of invisible ink. I don't want to do that. I'm going to back out of here and come back because I am invisible inking it. One more wow. So I'm going to touch and hold. I'm going to go to screens. So you can see that's a lot of wows in the echo mode. But now instead of using the slider on the right to go up to click in this area, that's how we changed the bubble effect. But instead of doing that, when it comes to screen effects, you do something else. Let's let me tap here. Okay, here we go. When it's screen effects, you go across the bottom, so the things that you're doing are down here, down at the bottom. So to move from thing to thing, from effect to effect, you've got to swipe from side to side. So we'll swipe over here. This is what it would look like. This is what the recipient's going to see, right? So here it is with balloons. Okay. Here it is with confetti. And on most phones, they'll feel it shake when the confetti comes out. It'll feel like a little explosion and so on. This one will make noise. It'll sound like it's blowing up a balloon, and you can see the word "wow" is on the balloon, and it flies away. So really interesting effects. Another one, here's fireworks. This one you would feel in your hand. The recipient will feel it too. Shooting star. And that's the end of it. That's the celebration. Okay, so I'm going to go back here. I'm going to send it with confetti. And so once I found the one I want, then I tap the blue arrow here like so. So let's do that. Okay, so mom is going to get that. She's going to see that message with confetti. She's probably going to wonder what I'm up to, unless she's watching me now. Okay, so question was asked about what happens if if the phone doesn't go sideways. It might not go sideways because you might have the lock on. This is the lock in the control panel, the control center rather. If that's locked like this, it's not going to rotate. The other thing that's going to keep it from rotating is if you don't tip it. If you don't tip it enough to make it know that it's kind of on edge. So if you do like this, it doesn't rotate. If you put it on its edge, then that's when you see rotation. So of course with the rotation lock on, it's never going to rotate. But anyway, this is the way to really force it, is turn the rotation lock off and to put it on edge. Okay, very good. Let's move along. So now we know how to forward a message, I think. Now, iPhone 7, yes, it can do it. And can you email a text message? Well, you could copy the text message and then you could paste it into an email. So yes, I think the answer is yes. Okay, so, and look, that's mom's written back. We'll just say, let me just say hello to mom here. Hi, mom. Okay. So I should have sent that with some pizzazz. Let's just do one more. Hi, mom. And we'll do an effect. There, that looks like a good one. There it goes. All right, so in case you don't call your mother enough, that you do a lot in one time that way. Okay, so that's that's about the messages. So let's turn the page. Now we have some very interesting things. We've looked before at the control center, and as you recall from last time we were together on talking about iPhones, we saw that a phone that has a home button, you access the control center by swiping up from the bottom like so. And a phone that does not have a home button, such as this one, you access the control center by pulling down from the top right ear. Okay, now, either way, it's the same idea. It's the control center. Now, we showed some interesting things in the control center. We added some features last time. But what we didn't do is we didn't show all of the pressing and holding that can do something. We know things like this. We know if I turn on the flashlight, if I tap the flashlight down here, let me get a picture of that. If I tap on the flashlight, of course it comes on. And if I tap it again, of course it goes off. But if I tap and hold on it, I get a slider, and I can just move up and down and make it more bright, less bright. You can see it's happening here. Okay, I think you see it right there on the screen. So that's a nice thing. let's turn off that blue box. Okay. That's one of several things that respond to a long press. So I showed you this last time. I'll show you again. The do not disturb. Do not disturb, as you can see, my do not disturb is not on, and I'm at risk of getting text messages and phone calls and whatnot. So yes, I can just turn it on, and that's a tap, or I just tap it again and it's off. If I tap it and I hold it, I don't have to press hard, just tap it and hold it. I can tell it that I want to be not disturbed for an hour or until tonight, until I leave here, which will be sometime in September, or until the end of this event. So they know that I have an event in my calendar from 2 to 3 o'clock, the iPhone Super Tips class. So I can tap that, and I'm going to do that now. And so now it's going to be do not disturb until the class is over. How nice. So that's just a long press. Let's look at one more on the clock. So we have a little clock here, handy for setting timers and so on, and alarms. But if I tap it, I get all of this clock stuff, and it's, you know, everything you want is in there. It just takes a while to figure it out. But you can see I can set a timer for 5 minutes or 3 minutes or whatever I want to do, and then click start, because I'm in the timer section down here at the bottom. Okay, well that's nice. That's fine, and that works fine. And all the things I've shown you so far, you've been able to do, but you haven't been able to do them in this few clicks. So let's go back to the control center and look what happens if I press and hold on the timer button here. Touch it and hold it, and all of a sudden it's ready for me to set a timer. I can slide up and down, do what I want to do, and then hit start. So I'm going to back out of that and do it again. So you can see it's really one move. It's you touch it, slide up, and let go. So I'm going to touch it, slide up, let go. And then, of course, I have to hit start. But you see how that saves you, some trips here, some taps. You would have to go, ordinarily, you'd have to tap it, make sure you're on the timer, change this, and then hit start, and that works, but this other way works better. So try it, and you should try touching and holding on all kinds of controls. You're going to see, if I demonstrate here, that there are other places where it works. So let's go to the mail. So here I have part of the list of mail, and if I touch this, and if I touch it, of course, we go and see the mail, I hope. There it is. Okay, so there's the mail. But if I touch it and hold it, all of a sudden I get some options here. So down here, I have some quick options here, so I can reply to it, I can forward it without even really opening it. So, okay, this question was asked about the special effects we did with with our text messages. Will Android people see those effects? I don't think they will. But I don't know anybody who has an Android, so I can't test it. All right. So let's go back. Let's do this again. I'm gonna touch and hold. Okay, touch and hold, and I see the options pop up. So that saves you just a little bit of time. And to get out of this stuff, whenever you've got something like this with a pop-up, you just tap somewhere else. So in this case, I could tap out here somewhere. I could hit this area if I had skinny fingers. I could do it up here. But we're going to we'll take the easy way and just touch the big part down there, bottom right. So anyway, it's going to save you a couple of clicks. Otherwise, I would have had to touch it and then touch this and then touch this to forward it. So that's a few touches. 1, 2, 3. What we're going to do instead, let's just see if we can do it again. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to go down here to forward, and by the way, it's a little bit more than forward. You see, I rectangled these things down here, but what I should have done is I should have slid up to show you there's more stuff here. So I could have even trashed it from here. Okay, so that's what's happening with email messages when you touch and hold. But look at what happens on a web page. So let's say we go to a web page. I'll go to a web page, and let's say that I want to bookmark this page. Well, you can see down here at the bottom there's a bookmarks icon. That sounds pretty promising, but if I touch that, what I see are all my bookmarks. That's not what I wanted. Not what I wanted at all. So let's pretend we're done there. And I could do it like this. I could tap this one. If we're remembering from last time, I can share. When I tap share, I have all these options, including add bookmark. So that's a two-stepper, but it doesn't look like a bookmark, so it's not really a great way to set up a bookmark system. But if I touch and hold on the bookmark icon, just touching and holding, there it is, add bookmark. What could be more obvious than this, right? So that's just an example of a control that has one purpose most of the time, but if you touch and hold it, you see more options. So I could add a bookmark for all 16 tabs that I have open on my phone at the moment, but I'm just going to add one for this one. Okay, and that looks like a great place to put it. I'm just going to say I am done. I'm going to save it, top right. Okay. Okay, so that is that. Now let's talk about things that you didn't know that your phone could do. All right, so for example, did you know that your phone is counting the steps that you take as you walk around with it? Okay, you don't even have to have a pedometer app. You've got something built in. You've got the health app. Now I'm not going to scroll around and look for the health app. I'm going to do it the right way. The right way is for you to click somewhere in the middle of your home screen and just pull down so that you see the search box at the top. It's way faster for me to type in health like this than it is for me to pan through all of my home screens. So let's look at the health app. Okay, so today I've done 1,090 steps. They're all between here and the refrigerator in the bathroom. That's how far we go. But look at all the other interesting information that this app has. Okay, so 1,090 steps, and that's without me doing anything. I didn't have to tell it start counting. It does, because the phone knows when it's bouncing along, it knows that those are walking steps. So let's look at the other data that is here. So they know that I climbed one flight of steps. I must have gone out to get the mail or something. They know, all right, they know how much I weigh because I have a scale that sends the Bluetooth information to the phone, which I did on purpose, and that wasn't a mistake. Anyway, it's nice that it's all gathered here in one place. If I was going to the doctor, I might be able to get more information from the doctor as well into my phone, which you can do down here, where you can access records like this, and it finds the hospitals that are near me, and I could, if I go to those hospitals, it could possibly pull information in for me. But it's nice to know that you've got a pedometer without you even doing anything. You thought this was a phone, it turns out it's a pedometer that you can make calls on. Okay, it also has a dictionary. Let's look at the dictionary. So I'm going to look at the word amount here. I'm just going to tap on amount, And let's see what happens. I'm going to tap and hold on it. And what do we see? Here, look up. So we're going to look it up. Okay, so all I got to do is tap it. And it looks up. We have a dictionary. So now I know what an amount is. But now we also have, you see here, this is a thesaurus. This is something you have. You have a thesaurus on your phone. You just don't know about it maybe. So these are other words for amount. So how do we do this? Well, if we scroll, I'm going to scroll up here, and you see at the bottom it says manage dictionaries. Okay, so let's manage the dictionary. So I'll tap down there and look at the different dictionaries I can get. So I've checked 3 of them, and let's do another one. Okay, let's do Spanish English. So now, if I go back, and let's go back to our web page, I'll tap on amount again, and I'll look it up again. Now, we have in Spanish the word for amount. Okay, so this is really neat. This is it's all built in. It obviously doesn't have to be Spanish, but that's the one that works for me. Okay, so that's knowing that you thought it was a phone. It turns out it's a dictionary, a thesaurus, and a translator. Okay, one more thing you've got in here is you have a level. So there are a lot of things you want to have nice and straight. For example, you want to hang a picture and you want to know if it's straight. Here's what we do. Again, we're going to pull down from in the middle here because I don't know where the tool is that I want, the app that I want. Turns out the app is not called level. Okay, the app is called measure. So when I pull down here, if I look for measure, there it is. You see it's here. But I want to do something as sort of an experiment to do this live. I really shouldn't do this without testing it, but just wild guess. I'm going to type in the word level, and let's see how smart. Look at that. They found the measure app anyway. You see that? I typed in level, and they knew what I was after. So that's kind of cool. So let's go look at that app and see how that works. Okay, so there's 2 parts to the measure app. There's one part where you can measure things. There's another part where we use the level. So the 2 parts are down here at the bottom. I tapped level. Okay, so what I'm going to do is try to make this phone level here. You can see it's tilted 18, 19 degrees, and come on. Yay, I did it. Okay, so here it's straight up. So if I put it on the picture like this, on the picture frame, and I rotate it here, and if it's like this, then I know it's level. Now it also knows the idea of flat. So if I tip it like so, if it's laying down on the table, then you can see, is my table slanted or is it flat? So I'm gonna put this actually on my table, okay, and we will see my table is not quite it's not quite flat. So that's too bad for me. But oh yes, it is. It's flat after all. Okay, so anyway, these are nice tools to know that you have without buying anything else. No new app. Simple as that. Okay, so that takes care of our things you didn't know you had. Okay, so now I've had some tapping and swiping and so on here. So I've been showing you to use the spotlight that you pull down. You put your finger somewhere in the middle here. Not at the top, because you pull at the top, you're going to pull down the notifications. You pull at the top right, you're going to pull down the control center. So we start, somewhere conservatively in here. So all I do is swipe down with a finger, and now we can do a search. So this is the way you ought to look for things too, and you'll see why I do. If I cancel this, I'll tap cancel up here. if you were on this phone, you'd never find anything. I mean, look at all this stuff. So these are apps that either I was testing, or apps I actually use, or apps that I thought I might use or thought I might test and didn't, and I never threw them away. So we don't do it like that. So what we do instead is we do that swipe down to find things. So just remember that. Besides finding apps, it's also going to find people and other things that have to do with the words that you're typing. Okay. And in fact, if yours looks like a little different than mine, it might be because yours up here, you see it looks like this with 4 choices. These choices that are up here are there because those are the things that I've looked for the most, the things I've used the most rather. So if I don't even have to search, all I have to do is, if I want to get to my favorite apps and they're not showing here on this screen, I just swipe down and I know they're going to be up there because the phone is watching. But if I tap show more up here, I get another row, and these obviously these are also things I've used, as you've seen. Okay, so use it. All right, that's my first thing. Now Siri, our old friend Siri, can launch things for you as well. So let's say I know there's a health app in here somewhere. We saw it. I can ask Siri to launch the app. So I'm going to try that now live. Launch the health app. And there it is. Okay. So that's nice. That worked. And to do that, I was holding down the home button so that it would listen. And that's really one of the big tricks with Siri, is keep holding the button down while you speak and let go when you're done. And that's how Siri knows to stop listening. Now remember, on an iPhone without a home button, you would just hold the side button, this one here, that one there, hold that in and just keep holding it and talking and then let go. Okay. Let's move on to, oh yes, okay, this is my all-time favorite thing. I actually think a lot of these tips are things that are things that you can look up, you can find them other places, but this one I think I invented. And so you've come to the right class, because I'm going to share this with you. Look, one of the hardest things to do on the phone is to move an app from this page, like let's say I want to move Talking Tom here, to move an app from this page to another page. Oh my gosh, so hard. Because you're supposed to hold it and it wiggles and you move it and you lose it. It's not easy. So as a result, a lot of people don't organize their apps in the way they would really like them to be organized, because it's too much trouble. And it used to be easier, right? We used to do it in iTunes. We would drag them around with a mouse on the computer, but they took that away. So we have this new hard way. But here's this new technique. It's a combination of things. It's going to take 2 steps to get there. First thing is, when you look, let's look at this down here, this dock at the bottom. I hope you can see the dock. If you've got tools in the way, look in your Zoom's window menu. I think you can hide the tool. So this is the dock, and these 4 are always here, and that's really nice. So you put the ones that you use a lot down there, and they stay there as you pan through different home screens. That's great. Now, bonus tip, I wasn't planning on showing you this, but how many times have I gone past here? This is like 6 or 7 swipes. To get back to the first one on this phone, I'm going to click the home button, and it's going to take me all the way back to the first screen. And on an iPhone without a home button, you would just swipe up, and it would go back to the first home screen. So a little bonus there. All right, well, so it's nice, though, that we have these 4 spaces for our apps and that they stay there. So we put our favorites. But what do you do if you have 5 or you have 10? How do you can't keep them all in in the dock. There's just not room. So what you do is you make a folder. So I'm gonna take Safari and I'm gonna put it in the dock, and I'm gonna add it to something that's already there, because there's obviously I can't move it into a space on the dock. There is no space. So I'm holding it until it wiggles. Now it's wiggling, and I'm going to drag it down here, and I'm going to put it right on top of, you saw where I put it, it was on top of the settings. And so now when we look here, and I stop it from wiggling by clicking the home button, down here I have two things. If I tap this, actually I have one on the wrong page, but I'm going to wiggle that one out of the way too. So I didn't really do that very well. Let me do this a little bit better. I'm going to take this guy out of this folder, wiggling as it is. I'm going to take it out, and I'm going to drop it down here again so that it's right next to this guy. Okay, so now I've got two things in a folder. So now, as you can see, I've got an extra thing in our bottom right spot there. So let's put something else down there too. Let's pretend that there's something else that I'm really interested in, and I'll move along here this way. I'm going to take the talking tomcat. So important to have. So once again, I'm going to tap it here, and I'm going to tap where it says Edit Home Screen, wiggle, 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 and I'll pull it down here, and I'm going to just drop it in here next to these other two. See if I can get on the first page here, right there. Okay. So now I have those things like this. Now, it's also possible, by the way, to take an app out of the dock. We probably know this. I'm going to take this one, the messages, and we will edit the home screen again, and I'm going to just pull it up and out of the dock. So that means I have more space down here. And now I'm going to put messages into my favorites here that says faves. So now you see I have 5 things in the faves, but now I'm going to take the whole folder and put it in the dock. Okay. So now I've got all these things in the dock. I've got all these things in the dock, and I've got 2 that I can get to in one touch. So you can see that you can keep more things at your fingertips. As I go to different pages, I still have all of these things just a tap away, and all of these things just a tap away. Okay, so now how does this help you to move something from one home page to another? Well, here's how we do it. Now that we know what we can do, let's say I want to take, I'll take something from this page. I'm going to take this here, this ratio. This is a sprinkler controller. You do it from your phone. Really nice. So I'm going to touch that, and I want to put this on the first page. So I think you know what to do. I would hold it till it wiggles, try to pull it to the left. It would be 4 or 5 pages away, really hard, not worth doing. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to touch it here. I'm going to edit the home screen, and then I'm going to drag it down to my folder at the bottom right. I'm just going to park it there for a moment, all right? So let's just put it right there. Okay, and now I'm going to go to page 1, and now I'm going to go here. I'm going to take this out of here, edit the home screen, let it wiggle, pull it out. Aha. So I basically parked it in the folder, in the dock, got to the page I wanted to be on, and then took it out of the folder in the dock. So that's, I don't know what that's called, but I think probably popularly it'll be known as the Christian voice method, maybe. So anyway, I think that this is the first time this has ever been disclosed to the public at large. So anyway, you know something that other people don't know. Okay, we're gonna do one more thing, just one more simple thing, which is undoing. Sometimes you make a mistake and you want to undo that mistake. So the kind of place where you usually make a mistake is like in an email, you throw something away. So I'm going to throw away this email that came from Lucille's Smokehouse and Barbecue. I'm throw this away by mistake, and then I'm going to get it back. Okay. So you might have remembered from last time that we can swipe. Here I go. I'm swiping from right to left, and it's gone. Okay, so now what are we going to do? Well, we could go dig around in the trash. We could look for the undo button, but there isn't an undo button. But what we do instead is we shake to undo. So I'm going to, hopefully you can see me shake it up here. Okay, you see. I just shake it with some gusto, but you see, here's undo trash. I'm going to do it. And voila. Okay, it's back. Okay, so you have to shake pretty hard. Now, if it doesn't work, it might be that the feature's not turned on. So let's make sure we know where the feature is. So let's go to our settings. Shake to undo is in accessibility, which is an odd place to put it, I think, but there it is. So I'll touch accessibility. And then it's in down here, it's actually in this physical and motor section and touch in particular. So we'll go to touch. So we'll go here, touch. And here you see shake to undo. Okay. So the reason they have a chance for you to turn it off is in case you shake a lot and you keep undoing everything that you do. So that could get kind of old. So you may find that having this on is not what you want, but mostly I think you do, because it could undo a lot of things. For example, suppose you're typing a big long email on your phone and somehow you accidentally delete all the text that you just worked so hard to write. Okay, because maybe you highlight it by mistake and you touch it and it's gone. You shake to undo and it all comes back. Okay, so I showed you bringing the whole message back, but this would be the text that you're writing would come back. Okay, I'm going to show you one more thing. There was a question about dictionaries, and if you look in the general section, this is where we find the dictionaries. So you should be able to turn on some dictionaries in here, and you see there are quite a few. And that works when you're using the dictionary. It works anywhere that there's text. So if I'm in an email and I'm going to see if I can find a word here to click on, I highlighted the word anyone, and there's the lookup. So I'm going to look up, and here's all the things that here's anyone means. This is what it means. Okay, so if you don't have a dictionary, look in the settings, and then general, and then dictionary. Okay, well, that was fun. We got through the whole affair, and here's the good news. We got through all this stuff, but there's a lot more. And so next week, it's iPhone Son of Super Tips. We will have another hour of iPhone Super Tips. Okay, I couldn't fit it all in. It's better this way. So if you didn't see me refer to the thing that you care about the most, maybe next week. So there you have it. All right, questions? Anyone? Any questions? If not, we will adjourn. Okay, I'm looking for questions here. Okay. All right, good. Also this week, on Thursday, in the Mac classes, we're going to have Microsoft Word versus Apple Pages in a word processor showdown. I'm going to show you both, show you what they both can do. You can see how they're the same, how they're different, show you things that might make you use one of them over the other of them at different times. Okay, that is all. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll see you around, or you'll see me around. Okay, bye-bye.